Hello everybody. Today we're coming to you with a demo. This is a Flask application with MySQL backend. I've been working on it for a week, just trying to get acquainted with Python Flask. So Flask is a micro framework written in Python, and it's pretty cool. It makes you have full access writing the um, MySQL queries itself instead of being easier with like a bigger Python framework like Django. But this is very clean, it's very minimal, and it lets you understand the routing a lot more easier. Anyways, um, the root. So I'm just gonna explain it and give a demo of the app at the same time. So the in order to create the app, you have to import all of the stuff that the app is using. So Flask MySQL DB, we use something called WT Forms, something called pass a label to do the encryption, func tools, and the database stuff in terms of the configuration. Anyways, I'm gonna run the app. You can see here that I have Python app.py to run the app to start the demo. So, localhost, boom, welcome. This application is Giovanni's attempt at building his first Python Ask app using a YouTube tutorial which shows the step-by-step procedure of using Flask alongside MySQL. Anyways, well, you can see right there that the homepage has a small typo and it's annoying, so change that. Boom, much better. So you can register, you can log in. So it's just a blog, Flask, a blog written in Flask framework. So register. So in each step that I take, we will be going through what it is in code. So this homepage, let me show you just how it is rendered. So the homepage is rendered through app.py. This is how the routing is done. You have the route, so every website starts, this is the home, and basically with the route going to that, you shall return a render a template called home.html. So we have that file here. So home.html is just literally showing you the write-up as well as the login and register page. If the person is logged in, you would see register and login, or if the person is not logged in, so you'd see register and login. So a session is just the global variable that we imported from app.py or from session in Flask, but now we have access to the word session that basically holds what we have, holds information on who is logged in and who has access to the current files. Anyways, so we go back to home HTML template. So we see if it's null, you see that. So as we go through the workflow, we're going to look at it in app.py as well. So the first thing we do is register. Just going to show you how we do the register. So we have a register form class here that shows this form: name, username, email, password, and confirm. And each of these string fields and password field and all that come from something we call WT forms. We import all the types of the fields from WT forms, so you can check that out. Flask WT forms, and basically just read the documentation to see how it's used. Right, so as I said, now we're going to do the registration. So we just created a form class to have that happen. So if you look at register, if you have a get request to register, it renders a template, a register HTML. So this is rendered, which is just a render field, render field, render field. That's all coming from the template engine. And one thing here is the form helpers. So as you can see, register, we include the form helpers. So this is just helping with the form. Anyways, in any case, you see all the stuff being rendered, the name, the email, the username, the password, and the confirm button, and the confirm password, as well as the submit button. If you go back to app.py, so that is if we have the get request. But if we have a post request, we want to validate the form. So if the post request and the form is validated, then we go in here and take the info from name, email, username, and password fields and use that to execute the SQL statement, insert into users table, username, email, and password, and that is received from the form that we have gotten earlier, as well as we commit to the DB and close it and flash the message. You are now registered. So now we will see that. So we'll call this example 3 at example3.com. example 3 is a name and example 3 is a password. Example 3 for confirming the password. And you see we have you are now registered and can log in. So with login, it's literally almost the same thing, but we have to query the database again to make sure that a user was actually in the database with that name that we're giving here, as well as the password matches the database. So example 3 and the password is example 3. But let me show you. So if the request method is post, so this is a post request. Remember, if it's not post, it's a get request. And then if it's a get request, then you just render the login HTML template, which is just having the username and password being rendered. So going back to app.py, I just realized each time I leave app.py and come back, it goes to the top of the file. That's pretty annoying. Anyways, so username, password candidate. So this is a candidate right now because it's not the actual password. We're not sure if it's the password. So what we do is query the database, select star from users where username equal %s, and the username is passed into the query for that formatting. What we do right here for pass %s. That's just like how they do it in other languages. So if the result that comes back is more than 0, then we fetch the data that we get. So with that being said, because it comes back as a dictionary, because we set the SQL query as a dictionary cursor, well, when we created the cursor as a dictionary cursor, we'll show you that in the file later on. It will come back and you get data at password inside data, and that is the password that's actually in the database itself. So now we have to, because we have the password that we got from the query as well as the candidate password from the form, we now have to verify it. And what we do is verify using the SHA-256 script that verify, and this is imported from earlier where we had this. As you see, it was imported earlier in the file. And then we create the cursor and execute. We look at the session variable that we talked about and set it to logged in. So set session open bracket logged in to true and username to the username that was passed in the form, and then you are now logged in, and then you redirect to the dashboard. If it doesn't verify, you have invalid login being passed. So let us just do the incorrect thing first. So that's the wrong password, invalid login. So now example 3 is the right password. You are now logged in. But let us try username not found. So that's a username that's not found. username not found is shown. Okay, so now we go in, and what will happen is we'll be going to the dashboard. Never. So before I go any further, I'll just explain the database stuff. So we're configuring our database to have host, user, password, DB, and a dictionary cursor. So a cursor is just what you you are allowed to write or mock queries to the database without actually going into a terminal and writing it out itself. So this is how we set up the database. I talked about it I wrote about it in the README file. So you just create the database after setting it up, after setting up your MySQL, and create database MyFlask app, and you create a user table and an articles table, so that you can write articles and save it in the database, as well as you can create users so that you may log in, you may register, you may log out, and you may query users. So you see users have an ID, and that ID auto increments as more users are added. It's a primary key and it cannot be null. And you have name, which is a character, maximum length 30, username maximum length 30, email maximum length 100, password 100. Even though this is an encrypted string, it's not necessarily our password because we don't save the raw password in the database. And then register date is the current time. It's a timestamp. So the timestamp before current stamp, and then the article table is ID int auto increment primary key. You have the title, you have the author, which is the current user, the body, and then the timestamp. So we go back to app.py. You see here that this is the configuration for the database. So because I didn't want to write out this file, because this is going up on GitHub, I don't want to just have passwords out in the open, so I had a file here that will not go to GitHub. I'll just keep this somewhere, and this is the stuff. If you're watching this video, that's good, so you can see the password. Not a big deal, but this is how you protect your data from theft. Anyways, so you initialize the MySQL, and then you have access through this MySQL. So you create the cursor by saying mysql.connection.cursor, and then you can run stuff. So in order to see, so articles, this is also a page. So you render articles. So these are the articles that are currently there. Render articles, and you pass the articles there from the select query that you had. Select star from articles, and you fetch all of them, and then you render. If the result is more than one, you render the template articles equal articles, or if there is none, you say no articles found. If you want to see one article, so you click example one article on slash article 3, you'd see it passed into the route article, and then a string, even though it's a number, but the string signifies the ID. It's actually a string in the URL. So 3 would be passed into the article route, and it selects only that ID that's passed into the URL, and you fetch that one article, and if the result is greater than 0, you render the article itself. Because as you can see, article equal query that fetch 1. If there's no article found, you say no articles found, and you render it with the message. So if I manually put article 10, you get that. Okay, so that's an error. How to fix. No articles for message equal message. But as you can see, that's a problem with the query. I guess you shouldn't query. So one easy fix would be not to query something. Fetch one if result is greater than 0. Wow. I could look at that error again. Oh, no articles found. Okay, that was weird. Yeah, that's what it's supposed to be. Message equal no articles found, and it's passed. So no articles found. But if we go back to 1, or what it was earlier, 3, then you'll get that. Okay. Articles. Anyways, another workflow is just the about page. The about.html is rendered. So let me just explain. Extends layout.html is just, instead of writing over stuff over and over, you get to see the whole document. Well, you see the whole whole theme of the page is given by the layout page. So you see we linked style sheet. So this is the bootstrap CDN link that we added as a style sheet, so we don't have to write our own CSS. And then we included a navbar, so the navbar used up a lot of the bootstrap stuff to get the navbar. So home, about, articles, and then if the session is logged in, remember session is that global variable, well, from that we imported from Flask. Logout and dashboard, you'd see that if you're logged in, logout and dashboard, but if you're not logged in, you'd see register and login. So it's just a simple navbar, whatever. Navbar right for these two, as well as this for the whole another list, and for each list you would see it accordingly. So another workflow would be to go to the dashboard. So the dashboard is just the same thing. You query the database and you fetch all, you render all of the articles. You just pass articles into the render template, and if no article is found, it would show no articles found and close the cursor. However, let me just explain this one thing. Is logged in is something we got. We created a function that uses wraps from func tools, and we looked up, hold on, is logged in. We use it a lot. Why do we use it? Because we want to make sure that in order to see like the dashboard or the articles, you have to be actually logged in, or because you don't want persons who are not logged into your app to be able to make changes. So you check is logged in, but here is the is logged in function. It's just some stuff wrapping, and you flash unauthorized, please log in, and you give them danger, and then you give them a you force them to read that, you force them to go to URL login, to the login page, right? Because you have to make sure that they log in before they can have access to stuff. Yeah, and afterwards you ensure that ensure that you're logged in, and then yeah, so there's two more stuff. One second. Sorry about that. Yeah, so now you have the dashboard. So we are going to show you the add article on the dashboard. That's just a link here. So if you look at the dashboard HTML, you have the ID, the title, the author, the create date, all in a table, and then at the bottom we have button success. That's just bootstrap class. So you add the article from here. Example 17, 17 times, because this is so that's my beautiful article. I submit that article and I see it. That article also has a HTML that we just saw, or a template that we just saw, which is just a title and the form. Dashboard, we have that, and then app.py, we go down back and we see that we can delete an article, which you just send a query to delete the article where the ID is also the ID that you pass into the route for the article. So you click here, depending on which button, I'm going to query that one. So delete article 6, and article 6 is gone. Edit article 2 and 28 and submit. And so we have the dashboard, we have the articles, we have the about, the home. Dappa Tech also goes to the same home page and dashboard, and that's about it for the demo side of things. Let me just go through for each function, or at least most of it. So the articles, you query all. The article, you query that one. Register form of the register. Login, you check the login candidate. Dashboard, you check all the articles. There's no article form. So for the article form, we do the same thing that we did for the register form. We only can have two methods for the you have get or post request for the article. If it's get, you go to the render template. If request that method equal post and it validated, then you get the title and the body from the form, and then you execute the insert into the database. Edit article is you fetch, but with the edit article is a bit different, because you query first and then you populate the forms actually first with the articles that you got from the database itself. So you get that one article, and then from the article you check the title of the article and the body, and then you populate the form, and then you can change the form based on what the user sent in that post request. So you post and then validate, and you update the articles by setting the title, that's what's in the string that's passed. You set the body, as well as you make sure that the ID is the correct ID of the article, and then you commit and you close. You flash the message, article updated and success. Delete article, you just send a delete from articles where ID equal %s. You commit and your cursor, you close the cursor. So yeah, that's about it. We've also deployed this on a DigitalOcean droplet just to make sure it works. So if you look geo array, or no, geo.axiom array.io or .com, sorry, and we have it up there as well. So yeah, thank you for watching this demo. Remember, this is Dappa Dev. I'm Dappa Dev, and we have Dappa Tech. and article technologies. But yeah, thanks a lot for watching, and the music in the background is Chronix. Just gotta shout out Chronix. Yeah, thanks a lot, and this is Giovanni. Peace out.